so competitive. And look, Stuart Law's a very, very, very good coach. He was an excellent player as well. But I think he'll be really successful, like what he's done, bringing Nick Pothas in as well and Guy Endramala to kind of keep that Nepal flavour. And yeah, I would hope that the best days are still ahead. I just hope that Stuart Law gets given the time. Like, he obviously had a great first series, but if they have a bad next series, that's
right.
Just allow the project to...
I can't imagine like a side like India or Australia losing a couple series and firing their coach, right? It doesn't happen, and that's why you have to understand this is a project in progress.
It's a process. It's a process. It's a process.
Yeah.
And one final thing, just to touch on that for Stuart Law, like, you saw ahead of that tour, because Nepal hadn't played an awful lot. I know they played a little tri-series or a quad series in Hong Kong that was, not even the full team, but this was their first kind of games of relevance in whatever it was, 8-9 months. It was really all the way back since that tour of Texas, wasn't it? So you looked at it and you said, all of the fans online are calling, they're saying Karen Casey's done. He should be retired. Sampal Kami's done it. Not all of them, but there was a big conjecture online. Why is he there? Why is Rob Powell captains? And all of a sudden, the guys who were the real heroes, Arif Sheikh was being criticised. Mm-hmm. Sheikh was probably the player of the tour. Karen Casey, the next best. Sampal Kami, the third best, until he got injured. So they had the best squad. The only thing I would personally have disagreed with in terms of selection for that tour, I was really surprised to see Kushamala left out of the T20 team. Mm. Could understand maybe him getting the axe in ODI cricket. He struggled a bit there. But
he's a perfect T20 player.
His power, his quality, and his bowling, which is skillful. He's a good fielder too. And I think, I hope that was the one big omission that I thought was a surprise. But, the continued emergence of Nandan Yadav is a real bonus. Rijan Dakal as well. They've got the right guys in and around. And also, for whenever Nepal lose a game, there seems to be a whole string of posts about we need to replace the captain. Rohit Paudal's an excellent captain. He's a great leader. He's a good young man. And he's got the absolute respect of that entire group. And I love what Stuart Law did. He didn't listen to any of the noise coming in. He went and looked at the camp. He stuck with the tried and tested. And he's evolved a few bits that will continue to evolve. And he'll continue to uncover players as well. But that will be a gradual thing.
Sure.
You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of good things going on in that Nepal team, despite where they were in that ODI table. There was a number of reasons for that. They were mainly focusing on T20 cricket. They had a very difficult tour up in King City where the conditions were horrendous, came out on the backside of a couple of close defeats, and they lost a game they probably should have won up in Texas. That was it.
Yeah, the fact that Nepal is scoring, I forget about like winning by 2 runs or losing by 2 runs, right? The fact that they're able to score 320s, getting to that level, that's a sign right there.
They're miles on from where they were 5 years ago. Exactly. They've got the right group of players. People just need to get behind them and understand it's a very, very tough league. And, the 3 games against the West Indies, I think Nepal is going to win one of them. Stick that prediction on the record. Nepal will win its first ever game against a full member. In those conditions, late September, West Indies are inconsistent. They're going to win one of those games.
Yeah.
But they've no right to.
Sure.
They get a fraction of the funding the West Indies get. They get a fraction of the access to world-class facilities the West Indies players get. They get a fraction, a tiny percentage of the exposure in the franchise leagues that the West Indies players get. Nepal will beat the West Indies in one of those games.
Okay, let's hope so.
But if they don't, it doesn't mean we should sack Stuart Law.
Of course. You have to give time. I'm a firm believer in having patience, and 2 years is honestly, it's not a long time.
And I know Nepali people are emotional. Irish people are very emotional too. We really are. But you can't ride that wave of emotions to a point where you're you're giving out that Gulshan Jah didn't win that game against South Africa. He's a teenage kid who's an incredibly talented cricketer, and he didn't deserve any of that vilification.
He almost pulled it out. Like couple. See what those 2 shots that the second shot, I thought he scored for. It was a 4.
I thought it was 4. It just checked slightly in the outfield, and it was a great piece. You know
what? The 2 shots that he hit remind me of Klusner 99 World Cup. Almost pulled it off.
Definitely Klusner there.
Yeah.